What is up, sexy people of the internet? It is Dave, it is Duncan back from Metal Epidemic for another album review. For this review, Duncan and I have been checking out the new album from Danish hardcore band Eyes.
Congratulations! No, that was the last album, wasn't it?
The band's new album, Spinner, will be released on April 25th via Prosthetic Records. Hailing from Copenhagen, Denmark, Eyes will make their Prosthetic Records debut with their third full-length album titled Spinner. Following on from their critically acclaimed sophomore album, Congratulations, and a slew of eviscerating live performances, Eyes took to the studio to record 10 tracks of Spinner in autumn 2024. Featuring members of LLNN, Eyes are very much a product of the burgeoning underground scene in their hometown, where they have already established themselves as a force to be reckoned with. Through the lens of a fictional early 80s anime episode, vocalist Victor Cass puts himself under the microscope, exploring events and emotions in his own life. Spinner is heavily inspired by manga author Asano Enio, specifically his works Goodnight Pun Pun and Dead Dead Demons DDD Destruction.
This is like the best day. Dave hates anime, and the fact we're getting to hear him say, like, just to mention things half confidently of things he hates, just makes me over fucking joyed. It's worth its weight in gold. Thank you very much for this bountiful gift, Eyes.
It was too relevant, but for this album, I couldn't take it out, dog, and I had to mention it. The cast of characters that Victor introduces us to across the course of the album serve as a proxy for unravelling and processing traumas in youth and early adulthood as he scrutinises his past self. The Spinner universe that Eyes have built is a place to escape to shake off demons and start anew from a place of acceptance. Musically, Spinner came together differently to its predecessors. A much more deliberate approach saw the band uniting to write in the studio with a greater focus on song structure and dynamics. A continually growing trust in each other led to greater creative freedom and a willingness to take risks with musical choices. Even when ideas initially seemed too much, too dumb, they saw them through to fruition in service of the bigger picture. This rejuvenating trust, combined with the sometimes suffocating surrounds of the warm, cramped, airless studio space, the resulting tracks capture the unhinged attitude of a band that dared to venture down every sonic avenue that felt alluring at the time. The chaotic nature of Eyes' live show is captured on Spinner, with production duties handled by Jakob Bredel at the Village and Provo Studios in Copenhagen, mastered by Brad Boatwright at Audio Siege.
We love you, Brad.
What a fucking duo. The aggressive cynicism of the band is enhanced by guest vocal appearances by Selma Banner of Feral Nature and Tower on The Captain, and Jesse Matthewson of Ken Mode on Save Face on a regular basis. So,
and a click as well.
Here we go.
You know he's serious.
So we have been big fans of this band
from the beginning. Yeah, we were right there at the start.
Yeah. About 5 years since Underperformer came out, basically. And to see them now get to this new album on and link up with Prosthetic Records is pretty much confirmation of everything we've been saying over the last 5 years.
I was going to say, like, between this year and what was the other band we did this year from Denmark that also got major label? We literally just did it. Last year. Last year.
Lifesick, no?
Lifesick, yeah. So between Lifesick and Eyes, I'm just going to use them as two examples, are like underpin that we've been saying for 5 years now that easily the most exciting music around is coming from Denmark. And you know what, Dave? I mean, I would, a lesser man would gloat. Not I.
Myself on the back.
Not you, Dave. But we are going to sit smugly for this entire fucking... Look at me. Look how smug I can be.
Yeah, I mean, the proof is there. The proof is out there. Check out our channel. We've been talking about these guys for a long time. They have continually leveled up. Every album just gets better. And for people who are just finding out about them now because of Prosthetic, you're going to have an absolute blast going back through those previous albums. I re-listened to Congratulations again today, just just in prep for this, and it is such a fun
not
album.
A weak moment. There's not a weak
No,
moment.
so good. But it is not Spinner. It is not. It's only been 2 years since Congratulations. 2 years. But fuck me. Things have taken another turn here, ladies and gents. My God. Like, bands like this really excite me. Like, that Danish scene excites me. And we have been saying it for a long time. It is just brimming with so many gems that just don't seem to get the recognition they deserve. So when a band like Eyes managed to grab the attention of a bigger label, it kind of restores my faith in the music industry a little bit. Because these guys are fucking great. And Spinner is another shining an example of why people should be checking this band out. I imagine when OP1 kicked in, you were just like instantly erect at that point.
Well, I did wonder if I'd pressed start on the right thing.
I mean, not only is it 80s as fuck,
yes,
but it's heavily soaked in Japanese anime.
Oh yeah, it's an anime voice in the background, yeah.
Yeah. And it's very interesting that this album came together differently to the previous albums, because the process that has clearly kind of influenced the outcome of this has kind of taken it to another level here. This is the most focused Eyes have ever sounded. This is razor sharp. It feels very defined, like hugely punchy. And one of the main factors of that is, for me, they've kind of ever so slightly, kind of pulled back a little bit on the kind of noise rock, some of the kind of like punk rock kind of influences, and leaned further into kind of metallic hardcore and the kind of more like metal sound or side of their sound. And the result of that is an absolute fucking monster of an album. This album fucks, ladies and gents. 100%. Most tracks 2 to 3 minutes roughly. 2 tracks go over the 3-minute mark, and that should give you an indication of what to expect here. This album is to the fucking point. No fucking around. Excess fat is 0. If this was bacon, it would be a lean bacon. And every track here, every single track leaves you...
Did you refer to like a... You're aware that it's Danish bacon, right? That's what makes me like... Is that... Are we falling into stereotypes here? Just a wee bit.
I mean, when you cook your Danish bacon, you cook it in Lurpak. Rutger Hauer movie playing in the background.
Literally could not get you to do a Ray Winston impression earlier on, which is better than your Danish impression. And here we are, ladies and gents. Here we are.
Yes.
Talk about leanness, Dave. Meanness and leanness.
They have perfected the art of kind of like of chaos and simplicity, where every track gives you this like barrage of just chaotic hardcore riffs that just explode in all kind of shapes and sizes, and then they know exactly when to shift the pace of a track into something like full throttle, or when things like kind of drop like down into Chinatown, you know what I mean? That's like they know, or Tokyo Town. I don't know, like the Japanese in this one. And they just let out like this huge, absolute behemoth of a groove. And I don't think there's anything I can say that will like do justice to how fucking moreish those moments are on this album. But I need to highlight a few here because, my God, Deflating Rooms. Let me just mention Deflating Rooms here. Could be one of my favourite Eyes tracks ever written. Starts off like heavy on the kind of hardcore front. It's fast, it's aggressive. There's a thickness to the guitars that indicate like the track is going to take a turn. And about halfway through, it drops, and fuck me, is it not the most like stank face riff ever? Like, my stank face had stank face Duncan. It was just unbelievable when that kicked in.
Checked out.
Oh my god! And then like they give you like different variations on it, which I loved. Like they bring it back later, but it has like all these kind of like wee wee, these kind of like danza kind of like weird noises.
I was gonna say, like, this is the year of the woo woo, because like the woo woo. Listen to me. This is the year of the woo woo, right? Not the snake. Don't listen to the like. What was it we did? Fucking the hardcore metal band that you saw play 2 years ago in Edinburgh. Just released a single recently.
Straight from the Path.
Yeah, Straight from the Path. Brand new single. It's full of like all the way right through it. And I'm like, is this the era of the and I'm like, yes,
yes,
please.
it is.
And it's fucking great. It's
so
all over
good.
this album, and I want more of it.
Yeah, I love it. I love how they give you a kind of simplified version of it, then they bring it back with all those kind of little bits and pieces over the top. And then maybe they'll jump back to the original version as well. It's so fucking cool. Moments like that, though, are just like scattered throughout this album. But also they don't repeat the same idea.
No.
They've gotten to a point now where their songwriting has got to that advanced level where they're able to just like fire out all these killer riffs and ideas, but instead of having like 3 or 4 like big moments on the release, they're able to do it on every track. Like each track has its own identity, but they've made sure that like the connective tissue is still there to keep the whole thing kind of bonded together. This is also an album that just gets stronger and stronger the more you get into it. That last run of 4 songs, fucking outstanding. Like Moving Day for the Overton window is just packed. It's absolutely packed with the biggest grooves. Like, yeah, something that reminded me of like kind of early Every Time I Die.
We'll talk about them when we get to me. I was a little bit 36 Crazy Fist, early 36 Crazy Fist.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
The groove riff.
I feel like Eyes do it with even more weight and power though. That closing riff is just holy mother of God. That is just ridiculous. But they cleverly know how to deliver something that colossal, and they need to kind of lead up to it with something slightly lighter, so they know exactly how they're going to do that. The build-up is perfect. You know, it's like sometimes it's less riff before it, more kind of lead work, and then when the impact comes, it just absolutely obliterates everything, and they nail it. They do the same on Clown, which kind of goes down a more kind of like traditional almost kind of traditional hardcore punk route in the verses, but then the chorus gives you something that's really a bit more kind of meat on it. The guitar tone on that is just disgusting. It's like a hardcore version of the Boss HM2. It's got that kind of like thickness and kind of fuzziness to it. Money Mouth though, they talk about Money Mouth. It's got like, I could hear some of the older kind of Eyes kind of traits coming through, but it's like tighter and more precise. The vocal lines on this though. Oh, the vocal lines, Duncan. Like, I think it might have been my second or maybe my third, but I was totally primed. That like, put your money where your motherfucking mouth is. Yeah. I was just like, I was ready for it. I was like, yes, absolutely awesome, so good. I think vocally, speaking about vocals, I think this might be Victor's best performance to date.
Fucking incredible, yeah.
He just seems to get better on every album, and he's delivered like on all fronts. His vocal range goes from like just, you know, the kind of guttural stuff right through kind of into high screams. The vocal delivery on like Beelzebub, the Hypocrite, is like, he's like a man possessed on that track. But some of the tones that he hits are just like, he did a couple of that. I did a kind of like kind of nervous laugh when he did it. I was like, oh my God. Like, but he's got this ability just to land some of the most savage screams. There's a little bit of kind of tonal melody in there as well, where they kind of push a little bit more of a hook. And lyrically, as I said, it's a very quotable album. This will go down a storm. Like at live shows, there's so much like material here that fans are just going to grab onto. The guests are also a kind of clever addition. You've got Selma Banner adding a kind of slightly more aggressive, kind of higher kind of register on the Captain, which works really nice with Victor's tone. And then on Save Face, on a regular basis, you've got Jesse from Ken Mode, giving a bit more a kind of deeper, kind of hardcore vocal, which again, it kind of twins up with Victor, so the two of them are kind of screaming at the same time, and that just sounds savage. I love the fact they didn't abandon the whole like retro Japanese theme after the intro as well. That they keep that kind of going. Comes through with a little segment at the end of Save Face on a regular basis, and then on the closing track, Spinner. And it's like that last part on Spinner's like a kind of almost like a credits rolling kind of type outro. Like when I was listening, I was like, this feels very nostalgic. Like I feel like I've watched this 80s show before. Like when I was listening to it, it just kind of took me back. This is just like Eyes taking it to the next level on every fucking front here. Like and I didn't know they had another level. Like I was like, when they put out Congratulations, I was like, they might have just peaked here. This is like...
Yeah, I think we actually said that. I think we said that if this is the best thing the band does, then, you know, they've absolutely knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. But then they've come back with Spinner and they've actually just taken it to another place. Like not only is it heavier, but the songwriting and the arrangements are even more refined here. The production though. Oh my fucking God. Jakob, man, I mean, every album sounds amazing. Like, and we say it on every review. Like, the production's so good, but this is like,
perfect.
It is. Like they've always had that like rawness to their sound, where you can feel the anarchy in the production. This still has that, you know, that chaos musically, but the production feels girthier. Like there's a weight to this one. It's jacked. The guitar tones are just hench. Like the drums again, like full of power, lots of depth to the kind of toms and the snare, and the fucking bass on this album as well. Just like another example of how important like a bass production is, to just reinforce everything that the guitars are doing. It just adds so much girth to the guitar parts. I think, again, like we probably said this in the last one, but the best production Eyes have had to date for me on this one. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, never change. Keep going to Jakob.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's literally just keep doing that.
Yeah, I mean, like to finish off, when a band puts out an album like Congratulations, yeah, part of me thought this is it. This is probably the best thing we're going to get from Eyes. But it kind of, this album shows they're just getting started, to be honest. Like they've somehow managed to outdo that previous album.
5 years, Dave.
Yeah.
This is year 5.
Yeah. And deliver something that makes me believe they aren't done, like progressing as a band. And that, like, although you can't see it below this desk, Duncan, that excites me in a huge way.
I can feel it over here.
Huge way. Yeah, like, not enough good things to say about this album. This is top tier, man. Absolutely love this. I have played this an obscene amount of times. Partly because of the runtime is, you know, it's pretty short, but it's so good. It's so addictive and so Moorish. I know that LLNN are coming over later in the year, but I really hope that Eyes make a little...
It's the one, isn't it? It's the one now that we really need to just kind of tick off that list.
We need to go over here. So, Duncan, Spinner, what are you thinking? Are you with me on this one, or are you not with me on this one?
I mean, like, there's no surprise here, mostly because I spoke offline with you and basically said this week was the easiest of all weeks for me, I think, ever. In reviewing, and that I'm literally walking in this one with another. Well, we'll get to it. So, like, this was the last album that I did, and I'd spent more time with the other 2 albums that we were reviewing in this block. One of which was an hour long, which I listened to several times, but I'd had it for a lot longer. And the other one was Employed to Serve, who we are big fans of, and that album felt like a statement of intent. It just felt like something special and monumental.
Yeah.
That I knew the Eyes album was a much shorter album. I didn't listen to this until yesterday, and I was like, I was thinking to myself, I can easily blitz this good 6 times before we record, maybe even more than that if I have to. And at the end of the first listen, I was just like, take my money, give it, throwing flowers at the imaginary band, like throwing them up my iPod. Other devices are available. There you go. I was fucking floored by this. Like, on the first listen, I just felt like, once again, the band had just come in with another renewed sense of purpose. A great label to be on. Prosthetic is the perfect fit for Eyes. Probably it's the label that they probably should have always been on. Just because I think of that. I think it selfishly think of that roster of other bands that Prosthetic's got and the potential tours. And I'm just like, oh my good God Almighty. You know, an Eyes touring with something like a Pupil Slicer is just fucking ridiculous to think about. Could easily fucking happen. But yeah, the like Eyes opening for was it Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys, not the Dallas Cowboys, the football team signed to Prosthetic, didn't
Halftime show presented by Eyes.
Could you imagine? Could you fucking imagine? They're not Prosthetic, are they? I've just made that up.
No, I think
they sound like they should be on Prosthetic.
MNRK maybe.
They should be on. Let's get them. I know that's a bigger label. Let's get them on Prosthetic. But like I think of that like that. I think also the pedigree of that label of bringing bands that exist in that kind of chaos sound, but give them a platform. Eyes are perfect for that. You've already mentioned, like, from the off, this does a lot to get me enticed. Asian voices and 80 synths, and you know, I was when I first put it, I thought I'd put the wrong thing. I should have guessed it. The artwork right from the beginning is a kind of almost a Junjo Ito sort of swirl thing. And like just reminds me of like spirals and stuff like that. And there's a lot of that in that imagery of, you know, that particular artist from that part of the world. And it's all horror and it's very disturbing. But like kind of like it's drawn in that way, that kind of swirl. But also kind of in a lot of ways when you described, because I don't do the PR, it does kind of make a lot of sense to me because, like, if I now look at that, what I now see is kind of 80s static in a television, almost as a vortex pulling you in. Maybe the band felt that was the way they were going. If they haven't, just use that. It's your idea at stealing co-op, then no one's going to argue otherwise. You kind of stole a little bit of my thunder here when you mentioned like the Every Time I Die connection and how they leaned into that. It's definitely on there. I think, like when you were talking about Deflating Rooms, the Deflating Rooms verse riff is like it might as well be the twin of Zed's Dead by Cancer Bats. It's almost the same build up, and I did kind of feel like I was listening to the same song until the riff change, where I was like, oh yeah, like Cancer Bats could never write a riff like that. But there is a Cancer Bats sort of earlier Cancer Bats. Less of the southern, more of the kind of the hardcore kind of punky thing throughout this album as well, along with Every Time I Die. There's a little bit of At the Drive-In here as well, which is kind of fucking cool. And like I said before, there's like one or two riffs specifically in Moving Day for the Over Window. That kind of groove riff they play reminded me of I think it was the debut 36 Crazy Fish record. On Roadrunner, which is there was like one or two riffs that reminded me of that. But they've managed to capture that kind of metallic hardcore vibe on this in a really interesting way, while still having those flurries of punk and that kind of the kind of math metal obtuse angle precision. A lot of that comes out of the way they do not only the breakdowns, but the way they angle their guitars as well. That kind of noise that we mentioned, a digital cat having his tail run over. You know what I mean? It's so cleverly used, and it's a repeated technique they use on this one, which is very prominent. But the way they utilize it, the way they switch up, and the different angles they bring it in, make it sound like an introduction of something on every track. Like, it's the first time you're hearing it, even though it's a technique they've done elsewhere. It's like they found this ability to take that technique and put it in different places for different purposes and make it sound unique in each element. It's fucking awesome. Vocally, this is absolute fire. Like, just like scorched earth, shredded vocal cords, red fucking raw vocals all the way right through it. It's volatile. It's on the cusp of like distorting to the point that you can't make it out, but it's fucking perfect. You know, the other thing about it is the enunciation, perfect. Like, you pick at everything he's screaming. Not easy to do, like to retain that kind of tonality in it. Perfect. You mentioned the bass production, which is going to be the next level I went in. The bass production is fucking fire on this. It sits perfectly in the mix. You could be easily distracted by everything else that's happening, but it holds the line, as Toto would sing, all the way right through the fucking songs, all the way right through the album. And then my concern on the first listen particularly was you're opening with 80 synths and anime sounds. If this is the only bit of the album that has this, as much as I love this, I'm going to knock a half a point off you, right? Because I fucking hate when bands introduce something that just doesn't appear anywhere else for no purpose. At the midway mark, they bring it back in almost as if one was changing a channel. And then at the end, like you say, it feels like closing credits. So it's like attention to fucking detail. This flows like at pace. This slaps like someone that fucking is trying to get money from you. It's just like on point all the way through, and that focus and that precision is delivered with their best production to date. Jakob has just like fucking nailed this to the wall. There's like no gap at all for any slight bit of, well, I wish there was. No, like it's perfect across the board. Absolutely fucking perfect. Like this was so fucking easy. So easy to review because there's literally nothing they're literally not like a half second, a blip that I would even remotely want to criticize. This is absolutely fucking great. And I'm going to put out there, this ain't in my top 10 at the end of the year. Oh dear Davey boy, what's happening here? Because this is the sort of thing that I will 6 times in 2 days. I'm going to spin this. I'm going to spin this, Dave, to fucking death.
Yep.
There's no way not to. It's fucking incredible.
Yep.
Love it. Brilliant. Absolutely amazing. Get your ass to Scotland. Come on.
Okay. Final thing, scores for Spinner by Eyes.
I wonder where Dave Duncan is coming in on this one. This could be arduous.
We scored congratulations a 5. This is better than congratulations, so this also gets a 5.
Congratulations is now a 3-star album in the new reviewing system. We're knocking everything down, Dave. We have to.
I mean, like this is nuts how good this is, and I only feel like they're still getting better. Like
5 years, that's what I'm saying. They still you 5 years into your songwriting, you still haven't you still haven't really matured.
Yeah.
You're still trying to carve out ideas and shapes and techniques and all this. You still haven't, bands get to the 10-year mark before they kind of start to, this is our comfortable, this is our dad bod sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where they get all comfy and shit. They are so far away from that.
Yeah.
And 2 back-to-back 5-star albums. And a debut that we were speaking about for months after it came out. They're one of an exciting scene. They're one of the most exciting bands.
Yep. For sure. So Eyes, Spinner, 2 5s here. Come on,
what we're gonna do here?
This is a must. You got to listen to this.
Easy peasy.
Links below, above, wherever you are. Facebook, Bandcamp, singles, all that shit. Check it out. Have a listen.
Can we get the 5s coming in with a spin?
Oh, with a spin.
Dave's like, let me just check the effects.
I'll get back to you on that. I'll see what I can do. Check these guys out. This is another absolutely stellar release from Eyes. Check out the previous albums. If you're just getting into these guys now because Prosthetic have maybe put them on your radar, the previous albums are awesome as well. Congratulations, Underperformer, amazing albums. This is fucking hands down the best of the 3. That's the review. Thank you for checking it out. Eyes, if you're listening, get to Scotland, man. Come on. It's been 5 years we talked about this. 5 years. Scotland, come on. You know it. I know it. He knows it. That's the review. We'll be back with another review very soon. But until then, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye, everyone.